Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Still jet lagged. Don't sweat it. It's the same day, brother. 74GS SC6R. Days, dude, I forgot how fast days go by when you're recording. Hold on, watch this. Okay, so we got neither the secret room nor the enemy killed. I woke up around 10. Oh, must be nice. Well, sort of. My brain thought it was like 2 p.m. Japanese time. But anyway, you can run the numbers from PST, by the way. That's a direct conversion. Worked out, came up, 2 videos, showered, NLSS, recorded a couple more videos. It's already 8:17 p.m., dude. It's, the days go by so quick. Forget, when you're on vacation, and then, keep talking about your vacation. I'm almost done. Well, all right. I don't know why you had to make it weird, but the days go by slow on vacation. That's my experience, and it might sound like a negative thing. Normally people, when they say, "Oh, this day's taking forever," it's a negative thing, because you're doing something that's unpleasant. Just wanted to see if there were any... why not use this for one room at least, and then go back? It means you're doing something unpleasant, the time drags to a standstill. But I really feel like, on a work day, when I'm recording, I'm streaming, the days go by so fast because I'm constantly busy. I don't measure them in hours, minutes. Every video is roughly an hour. Gungeon episode happens, it's 1/16 of your day done. Isaac episode happens... Probably not 1/16, but it's 5% of your day maybe done. You record 6 or 7 videos a day. It's a lot of your waking hours. Now, I'm not complaining. I wanted that to be clear. I'm contrasting because on vacation, I always feel like time goes just a little bit slower. And it's nice because you're like, you wake up leisurely. You got no rush. Maybe you sit in bed for an hour after you wake up. Then you're like, what should we do for breakfast? I don't know. You want to shower first? Should I shower first? You work it out, Go get some lunch, and then you're like, well, what are we going to do? Well, we should go get something to eat, but we just ate. Okay, we got to kill 4 hours first, It depends on the way that you enjoy to travel, Maybe you're a person that plans a lot. We've done that before. That's definitely our shop there. We've done that before. We've been planners, and the plan... Should have seen that coming a mile away. You know what? Honestly, I'm just going to pop this. We're not going to save it for long enough to be useful in the late game. We might as well get some value out of it early. We've done, trips where we planned to have things going at all times. Those are fun. When we were in London several years ago, we got flown there for a media event, and we stayed like a week afterwards. We were like, every day, got to see this, got tickets for this, got to see this. It was exhausting, but it was also very fun. Library? Iceland was like the antithesis of that. Honestly, I think I'd rather have telepathy for dummies than doctor's remote here. When we went to our friend's wedding in Iceland, except for the wedding days, we were just like, let's just see where the world takes us today. And most of the time, it took us to a long afternoon nap, some great meals, and 9 to 10 hours of sleep a night. That might sound like we wasted an opportunity. It was probably one of the best vacations of my entire life. I gotta say, I do love Crack the Sky. But it's just weird to come back and be like, man, the days... I guess that's what, when you're a kid, and you're always like, the time moves so slow. It's been 2 days, I can't believe it's still June. Your parents are like, when you get older, the years start whipping by. I don't know if the years start whipping by because of the fact that, you're older. I think that is part of it. Every year that goes by is a smaller percentage of your life, so maybe it feels disproportionately like it's moving quickly, etc., etc. I think it's also just because, if you're an adult who's got obligations, 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 or more days a week, you got to, that time is essentially spoken for. And it kind of feels like it exists less, if that makes sense. I'm not complaining. Again, I want that to be clear. I love what I do. It's very entertaining. It's a privilege to do it. It's just weird to be in a position where I'm like, yeah, you know, good to be back home. The days go by so fast. On vacation, it takes forever. But isn't that the way you would want it? Especially if you hated your job, you'd rather your vacation seem like it lasted forever and your work days seem like they were over fast. Or at least like you went into a fugue state so you didn't remember that the workday existed. We did this so backwards. We should have taken 9 lives second, but it's not a huge problem in the end. Because if we die, we're going to respawn with 1 HP anyway. I'm right there with you. If you're not a big fan of your job, I've been there. Even jobs I had that were nice, like this job. Oh, I love my office environment, my coworkers, my duties, etc., etc. But even, you know, jobs in the past where I've been like, it's a pretty good job. It's never been the fact that the duties of the job were good. It's always been, you know, my colleagues are nice. They, you know, they have casual Fridays. And they do team building stuff. We go out mini golfing once a year on the company credit card, you know? We've started with cursed dice quite a lot recently. So I was into all sorts of workplace mathematics. You know, you got an 8-hour workday, you got a 1-hour lunch break. So you got 7 hours of work. Every hour that you work is roughly like, what, I don't know, 14.5% of your work day. So, you know, you work 8:30 and 9:30, you're like, wow, 14.5% of the way through the day. Now, some people out there are going, I lived that life, man. I feel you. And some people are going, what's wrong with you? And you're both right. I'm just telling you, there's dozens of us. Let's look. Honestly, it's a bit of a coward's way out, but for 5 cents, yes, give me the battery charge so I can hit the boss. Now, probably unnecessary, but a nice quality of life change nonetheless. Yeah, why not? You know, I used to, I've told this story probably 10 times, but I used to, when I first started this one job, I used to take my lunch break. I worked 8:30 to 4:30. I used to take my lunch break at like 3 p.m. So I would basically work 8:30 to 3, and then I would come back and I would work 4 to 4:30. Anybody who's worked in an office, if you haven't worked in an office, you're probably like, what's wrong with that? You should be able to take lunch whenever you want. If you have worked in an office, you're like, this genius. I don't really want bozo, but it would allow us to no, it wouldn't actually, now that I think about it. Hold on. If you have worked in an office, you're like, this nefarious genius, because no work gets done from 4 to 4:30. Let me rephrase. No work gets done in the last half hour at your average office. There might be one person who's like, the file has to be done by the end of the day. But otherwise, people, you know, after lunch, they start to wind down a little bit. Dude, bozo is just like, it's not even worth... Okay, fine, I'll go for it, but you owe me. Then eventually, somebody ratted me out for technically being within the... It was like, not really malicious compliance, but it was like, you know, well, there's nothing in the company handbook that says you can't take lunch from this time to this time. And also that a dog can't play basketball. So then they were like, you can only take... Your lunch break has to start between 11 and 1. In a way, it's almost like a point of personal pride that I was like, you know, probably the only minimum wage summer student in company history that forced them to actually, you know, change a policy in their handbook. You might think, by the way, man, NL, you were like a bad employee. Absolutely not. I was a great employee. Motivated, worked for cheap. I mean, you're basically, you know, I worked at this place, I was done my second and then my third year of university. You're basically hiring a college student to do an office job for minimum wage. They haven't completed their 4th year of college, but I'm a biology student, dude. It's not like it's going to help me in this, you know, environment. So we're just saying forget bozo, unfortunately. That's a great deal. Plus, I worked hard, but I did also find ways to minimize the strain of the workday, let's say. I know that sounds like a pun, like I was getting some pharmaceutical assistance, wink, wink, but no, I just, you know, you got eye strain. I'm talking about strain like, you know, lumbar support, not like purple haze. It gets around the Google DeepMind language filter, but you're going to have to ask your parents about that one if you don't get it. Okay. Huge miss. Huge miss. Now, the run is fine. 9 lives obviously gives us a lot of value. Bookworm, good rate of fire. Damage is okay. But we really, on this floor in particular, it's probably not urgent because of 9 lives, but it would be very, very nice to pick up some DPS. Okay, so in spite of this, we're going to go to the deal with the devil because we're building Guppy. Maw of the Void is basically exactly what we're looking for. It's defense and offense. And at this point, life is very simplified now. Not necessarily super easy, but much easier than it was, you know, before the boss fight. Anyway, speed upgrade would still be very mission critical. Anyway, feeling good. It's a weird thing about being. It's a weird thing about being, like, pretty tired, right? You go through, like, some of the day. I think, like, the early day is, like, the worst when you're super tired. Dude, I don't know. I think maybe we try an easier path for a second. I think our speed is putting us in a tight spot here. And by speed, I mean my terrible play. We could use our crack the sky there, but I'd rather wait on it if possible. Please. Like I said, my brain's feeling pretty good right now. If I could just get like a single demon heart. I've killed about 1700 enemies. If I could just a single demon heart out of Maw of the Void. Just one. All right, never mind. It's not like necessary or anything. Oh, okay, Maggie's bow is all of a sudden, I'm feeling a lot better about it. The start of the day is very cursed when you're tired. You know, you wake up feeling like you got sludge coursing through your veins. As the day goes on, I think you just get used to being tired. It's a lot easier to stay up at that point. So I've normalized, you know, to my relatively sleepless plight here. I guess we can't make it into that room anymore now that I think about it. And I'm just, you know, cautiously optimistic that tonight's gonna be the night where I'm finally gonna get that 7 to 8 uninterrupted hours. I'll take 6 uninterrupted hours. I would be completely okay with that. But you know, let's be honest, I make my own hours. If I could get 7 or 8, it shouldn't be that much of a challenge. Just hope the old brain cooperates. It's almost like a 40-year-old virgin situation. I don't know if you've ever had the same kind of like philosophy about trouble sleeping, but you know, in a 40-year-old virgin, he's regaling the story of, you know, and no judgment, but he's regaling the story of how he's maintained celibacy for 40 years. And it's like, you know, he had typical experiences when he was younger, and then things always went wrong, and because things went wrong, he got more and more weird about it. Because he got more and more weird about it, you know, the odds of it happening decreased. And then he just sort of found himself at the present day. That's how sleeplessness over the course of several days can go sometimes. You know, you start to be like, oh, okay, I didn't sleep well last night. I'll give it one more try. You sleep bad the next night. You go, I don't know if I'm ever going to sleep right again. You know, you got to unweird your brain. Sorry for the... It's a bit of a strange metaphor, but I think it applies in this situation. Don't leave. Magic mush. Okay, dude, I'm getting so much help. Like an embarrassing, truly embarrassing amount of help. I'm thankful for it. I need it, apparently. I wish I didn't, but I do. Hold on. Yeah, we can afford to go left here. Just planning out my map. Don't question it. Sorry. To be honest, I'm itching my nose. I don't know why I'm playing so badly here, but it is nice. You know, I'm coming off of some Slay the Spire runs. It's nice to have a game where, I mean, I'm playing Slay the Spire on essentially super turbo hard mode, impossible for, you know, real OG players only mode. It's nice to have a game where you can make a mistake and, you know, not lose instantly as a result of that. It's a nice change of pace. It's nice to have a baby game. It's stark contrast between Slay the Spire and then the other game. Well, I'm playing a lot of Gungeon as well. I'm playing a lot of Tarkov. I'm playing a lot of Isaac as always. But it's a stark contrast between Slay the Spire and another game I'm playing a lot of, Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is like, there's a Snorlax in front of you. You flick your finger up. The ball hits the Snorlax. And they go, you got him! Wow, you're amazing. You're an incredible Pokemon master. How did you learn such incredible Pokeball throwing techniques? And you go, oh, the tutorial told you to flick up towards the top of the screen to get... You know, and you know, as much as I've talked about Pokemon Go probably ad nauseum recently, but I need that in my life right now. A lot of games, and I've been there for them. Tough as nails platformer. The Dark Souls of Match 3 games. Pokemon Go is kind of, it's almost a refreshing change of pace. It's like, you interacted. Give yourself a pat on the back. I'm like, dude, this is what I need right now. Thank you. I'm not going through some stuff. It just feels nice to be complimented. Your Psyduck simply amazes me. Its best stat is its defense. Its attack is equally good. I'm blown away by its stats. Wow. Feels nice, dude. Y'all excited for that community day? Not community day, sorry. Adventure week. Catch yourself a shiny Onyx, brother. Trade it to me. No. Don't trade. Save it for yourself. I already got a shiny Dratini. Got to make it my... Okay, we don't need to... There's not that much strategy involved. I don't need to belabor the point. Dude, what I will say is, you know what we could talk about? How good is Escape from Tarkov? You might... There's always people... this is one thing you got to learn in the content creation business. There's always going to be some people hitting you with the Resident Sleeper, okay? There's people out there... You know, Scorsese fans, they go see The Departed. They're like, it blows. There's Scorsese fans out there. They go see The Departed. They go, it's amazing. There's probably some Quentin Tarantino fans out there that prefer, like, you know, The Hateful Eight to Pulp Fiction. Doesn't make them wrong. Makes them in the minority. But you just got to accept, you know, when you have an audience, there's going to be divergence. But I'm happy to see that, you know, Tarkov has gone off like a culture bomb from Civilization throughout our audiences. Mal's playing it, Austin's playing it, Justin and Paz are playing it, Corey's playing it, obviously Dan's playing it, Banal's playing it, Dick Hammer's playing it. You know, it's... I'm not taking credit. I didn't make Tarkov, nor did I even introduce it to the group. It was Daniel. Dan's breathless enthusiasm got me into the game in the first place, but there's just something... I think, I can't remember now if I talked about it in earlier episodes of Isaac, that is. Because, you know, I talk about everything in Isaac, but I haven't. I don't have a good memory of the Isaac episodes I recorded before the trip, because I told you that's forever ago. But it's nice to play a game where... You know what? No, I don't want the familiar homing. It's nice to play a game where there's AI that suck. That's really, like, I really also appreciate the persistent loot nature of Tarkov, where if you grab a gun on a run, you can carry it into future runs with you. I think, like, and if you die with it, you die with it forever. I think that's really cool, and it helps create, like, this awesome emerging gameplay that's interesting. But mostly, what I like about it is that I think the gunplay is great. That semi-realistic but largely arcadey feel that makes you feel like, you know, you're like, oh, you need to have the proper bridge to put this module on. But also, if you shoot someone in the head with a pistol, you don't need a PhD to make it happen, you know? But secondarily, the fact that there's dumb AI in that game, and I mean dumb as a compliment, believe it or not. Oh, it's beautiful. Because if you're watching this, you're under the age of maybe 25. F you, okay? I used to be in that demographic. Come home, play, you know, 6 hours of Halo 2 after doing my homework, go to bed. Consistently, you know, top of the lobby. And you're not going to believe it, but it's true. Top or second in the lobby. You know, I'm up there is all I'm saying. And then over time, you know, the neurons get a little bit more frayed. Don't have as much time to play these games. I sign into your PUBGs, your Fortnites, your Apex Legends, your Call of Duties, etc., etc. And people your age body the crap out of me. It's not as fun to lose those games as it is to win. So that's what makes Tarkov tick for me. It's a game made for 30-year-old boomers like myself who are, you know, there's glory days where they were good at video games. Makes you rekindle that feeling by allowing, I mean, sometimes, yes, you get one-tapped by a human being. Is it frustrating? I honestly haven't really felt the frustration that much. Because it's a lot harder to be frustrated, I think, if you also, like, got 8 kills on AI in that game. Like, it short-circuits your brain, I think. I know I say that all the time. But I think it short-circuits your brain. You're like, well, I died, but I had an 8-to-1 KDR. Well, yeah, you did and you didn't. You actually had a 0-to-1 KDR. Because all of your kills were on bots that... I'm not going to say that they're completely... You know, well, let me put it this way. One-on-one, you will beat an AI scav the majority of the time for sure. If you get a bunch of them or you're not paying attention or you're already wounded, yeah, then you're going to run into trouble. But I'm telling you, it's like, it does something to the center in your brain that's like, well, I died, but I did really well. It's a nice feeling. That's why I'm liking Escape from Tarkov. But I got to tell you, requires me to be at my PC, you know, to play it casually. I love playing it, like recording it. And I did, like, on some of my, like, off hours, I've been playing a little Tarkov. But I just, you know, I'm living that couch life right now. And I like playing a game you can play on the couch. That's why I'm so excited for Slay the Spire on Switch. You might think I'd be sick of that game. Some days I am, but for the most part, you know, if I'm ever like, if I feel the slightest twinge of boredom, doesn't happen that often, I know that I can just go, you know what, you don't even have to do A20 runs in Slay the Spire. You just, you know, just play Slay the Spire, try some funky deck archetypes, use some cards you haven't used, or just use cards you've used all the time in the past. And now that it's on Switch, I can get all the achievements over again. Especially the fun ones. Anyway. Now that it's on Switch soon, I should say. Because I don't know. I was going to say, what day is this going to come out? Tomorrow. So it's not like there's a huge backlog right now. There's a very, very small backlog. So you're getting stuff fresh off the presses. How about Game 4 of the St. Louis Blues versus the Boston Bruins? I don't care about hockey. I will next year. But this year... I am a hockey fan. I like watching hockey. I'll watch two teams play that I, you know, have no like local attachment to. But I'm not gonna rearrange my schedule to watch a game that starts at 4 p.m. my time in the Stanley Cup playoffs, unless my team's involved. You know, if it happened to be, if I was at a pub or something like that, and there was like, you know, baseball highlights on, I might call the server over and be like, "Oi, love, could you change to the..." I don't know why I thought I would go with that bit, but... "Can you change to the Overwatch League?" What's that? Vancouver Titans? This is just a terrible accent. Oh my god, we almost didn't make it there. I really don't want to lose this HP we got going on here. Thank you. I was going to say, it's been a while since we had a payout there, so I appreciate it. Sure. How did the Vancouver Titans do in Overwatch League anyway? I saw they were like 15-0 or something like that. Let me take a look. Overwatch League, I don't know, I'm just going to type 2019. Let's take a look. Grand Finals. Well, they're live right now. 117 days till the Grand Finals. Okay, so there's some time to go. Let's look at the standings here. Excuse me. Vancouver Titans are in second? Oh, how did they do in Stage 1? They went 7-0. That's pretty good. How'd they do in the playoffs? They went 14-0. That's pretty good. Oh my god. Dude, the Vancouver Titans are amazing. They win, because, you know, an Overwatch League match consists of several maps. They went 49-9 on their maps and 14-0 in the league. That's insane. I never know how it works, though. Like, do the Titans, they get access to the Grand Finals now? Is that how that works? Because they won the first round? I don't understand how it... I don't know. You click on them, you say, I should be playing Isaac right now. It's okay. They've been on break for a while? I don't know. Whatever. I'm happy we got a good sports team. Even if it's a sport I don't watch or really care about. It's okay. Top right, by the way. I might ask him to turn it on if I'm out at some place. That's what I'm saying. But I won't even rearrange my schedule for regular season Canucks games. Because, you know, it's the regular season. There's 82 games. Now, next year, if Elias Pettersson continues his development into the greatest NHL player in Earth's history, and Brock Besser becomes, you know, 1995 era Brett Hull, and just he can't stop scoring goals, and you know, we become the greatest team that you could ever ask for. Notice that it's a we thing now. It's no longer them, it's us. Then, you know, maybe we'll talk about rearranging the schedule, picking up a jersey or something like that. But for, you know, for now, you know, it's okay. I was in the gym today, you know, it was on, it was a sport. It was on at like 11 a.m. Vancouver time, so you know it's gonna be funky. You know what it was? And I'm not throwing any shade. Competitive darts. I want to tell you something. I have played darts before. I understand the rules of darts. A lot of people don't. You don't aim for the bullseye, for one. That's like basic level. But beyond that, you know, you aim for those triple 20s until you get down into the... Because you got to be the first person to hit 501 score to count down from 501. How do you count down? Well, whatever you score, that comes off of your score. So, you know, over the course of, you know, a few rounds of throwing 3 darts, you get it down there. Then let's say you're at, you know, 120. You can't just win by throwing a dart at, you know, ones, like if you got 18 left, you can't just throw at 18. You have to win with a double. Or a triple, I think. So if you, let's not use 120, that's a little crazy. Let's just use 18 as an example. If you got 18 left, you could hit double 9. I think you could hit triple 6, but double 9 is like twice as wide, so you'd probably go for that. Similarly, let's say, you know, you could just crunch the numbers for yourself. You got 31 left. Why not throw 1 dart at the 11 and then hit double 10? So there's a little bit of mental arithmetic. There's a little bit of strategy. And it's... Look, not all sports have to be physically, actually demanding. You know? The example people always use is golf. But, like, have you looked at golfers recently? They're ripped. Because I really feel like in a sport like golf... You know, for many years, you were able to get by being a little John Daly-esque. But now, like, if everybody else is ripped and it could add, like, 4 yards to your drive, why wouldn't you, right? You could make the difference between hundreds and thousands or even millions of dollars. So, of course, these dart guys, they were not ripped. That doesn't make it any less of a sport. But I will say, the audience... had me dying. It was, you know, when I think about like billiards, basically like English sports, I think about billiards, when I think about, you know, polo, I picture always a dignified audience. Hoity-toity, Ralph Lauren types, you know what I mean? The professional darts audience was almost entirely extremely, like, dangerously intoxicated young English men, most of whom were in costume. They were wearing wigs. Some of them were dressed like, you know, Jim Carrey from The Mask, replete with a mask on top of it. You know, the mask, not a mask of Jim Carrey. The audience... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. The audience was loving it, insofar as they had the capacity to really consciously love anything. Because they were, I mean, they were polluted. You know what I mean? Drunk. I don't know if other people use that verbiage. They really thought I could just sneak out the door there. I'm okay with that, you know? I mean, people get drunk at every sport. Always annoying sometimes. I've talked about it many times, you know, go see a few Canucks games a year. I would say 75% of the time you're within earshot of just some dude who's just, he's consumed a shameful amount of drink. You know? I'm not a teetotaler, but when you're like 40 years old and you're like yelling at 18, 19, 20-year-old kids on the ice, not in the stands. That would be worse, to be honest, but... And I don't just mean like, you know, pick it up. I mean like, you freaking suck, you freaking bum, you did. You know, it's just kind of embarrassing. You know, like, you come on, you got some other stuff going on in your life, right? You don't just have to yell at this guy over and over. But anyway, if anything, I kind of appreciate that the audience in the dart competition, you know, it really seemed like that was what they were there for. It wasn't like... hey, we're gonna go watch the darts and get blasted. It really seemed more like they got blasted, and then when they woke up, they were like, well, it's a dart tournament. Let's make the best of it. We already paid for our seats. Lad, you were so messed up last night, you purchased tickets to the whole World Championship of Darts Week. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you enjoyed the episode. Click the like button. It helps out a great deal, and I'll see you next time. See ya.